Welcome back to a new episode of Everlasting Summer. We are with Alicia's story and we are drunk. Yeah, we are drunk. You're gonna straight through me if you keep going like that. Alicia laughed. Sorry? Embarrassed, I started my feet. You can look if you so interest. With some effort, I opened my eye and saw her continue unbutton her shirt. No word could escape my mouth. Besides, who need word at a moment like this? What happened then was what was supposed to happen. Oh boy. At that time, I was unable to think of what was right to do. And I didn't want to, I just felt good. The light bulb burned out of one of us turned off the light, but either way, the room went dark. I looked around her cabin and thought of something. Where's Juliana? What are you afraid someone will come in and see us? She grinned warmly. It could happen. I mean, this will give us colorful life. Like, what are you doing? I asked her to spend the night at another girl cabin. Wait, so you planned of this? Well, not something like this, of course. She looked at me intentionally, smiled, and closed her eyes. Yeah. I started at the ceiling for a while longer and soon heard a quiet deep breath. Alicia was asleep. My head suddenly the alcohol seemed to be wearing off. Best thing to do in case is to follow her lead and get some sleep as well. Before I finished the thought, I was already fast asleep. I have a bad feeling. Olga. Day 7. Oh. This is gold. Some people were chasing me. Or maybe they weren't people but a fuzzy black blot with hellish landscape in the background. I ran, stumped over something having no air to breathe. My whole instinct was overtaken by primal fear and terror. And then a memory leaps. I opened my swallow eye only for my to be eye struck by bright daylight. A terrible taste in my mouth, pain all over body, and severe headache. It seemed someone was drinking hard yesterday. After coming to my senses, I started to recall the events of last night. I believe there was a bottle of vodka which happened empty together with Alicia. I tried to stand up, but something was pinning my left arm. It was peaceful snort Alicia. Ho, ho, ho. Everything was happened returned to my mind. Fear was quickly replaced by feeling of euphoria. I relaxed lazily on the bed, enjoying the beautiful hangover morning. Sometime later, Alicia woke up. I kissed her softly and said, "Good morning." She gave me a blank look for a couple of seconds and then jumped up shouting, You! Me what? Yesterday you... She hissed. But it was kind of your idea. I was drunk. So was I. What can you do? Alicia was furious looking at me, but then calmed down and sat beside me. Alright, whatever happened. Oh, you sure? Yeah, okay. It was not that memorable. What? Try to hug her. Don't. She whispered, blushing. Why? Because Alicia frankly shook her head. Because it's 4 o'clock already. 4 o'clock. Oh, bye. And what? Don't tell me you are late or something. Everyone will leave without us. Leave where? Today's the last day. Oh, fuck. The last day of what? I asked, completely confused. The last day of this term. What? The hangover seemed to have already passed a while ago, made a sharp comeback. Don't tell me you didn't know. I asked Alicia in surprise. So, You did know it. Well, yeah, but I forgot it somehow. And what should we do now? Well, actually, that wasn't the main thing that I was concerned about. If today is the last day, then everyone will go somewhere, so I can get out of this camp somehow. Well, I have no idea. Maybe we can still make it. I jumped out of the bed and started dressing quickly. It was difficult to, as my coordinate was badly disturbed by yesterday's lavish indulgence. What are you waiting for? Alicia didn't reply but started to dress too. A couple of minutes later, we were standing at the deserted square. Let's go to the camp leader cabin. After opening Olga cabin with my key, I found nobody inside. We checked the entire camp and found that we were alone here. After returning to square, I sat down and covered my face with hand like a doomed man. I still felt sick, but now it turned out that I had to solve serious problem. Where should they have gone? Well, to the district center, I guess. Do you know where it is? Approximately. Is it possible to reach it on foot? Don't know. And how long will it take on bus? Couple of hours. Oh, couple of hours. Quickly, I recall how much that in kilometers. Taking into consideration the quality of a Soviet motor car industry and Soviet road on cold, presume that it's quite possible to reach it on foot. Provide that Alicia know the exact direction. Moreover, in my situation, it's not easy to decide instead. But we can't stay here either. Alone, without food, in deserted pioneer camp. In real life, it will be definitely bad idea, and I had no other choice but to treat everything happen as reality. Let's go. Where? To the district center. Are you mad? You prefer to stay here? Sure, they'll notice that we're missing and will return. Don't you think it's odd that they didn't notice it during the apartment? Well, yeah, but she started to think, but to go somewhere all by our own, but you said you know the direction. I do. She agreed without confidence. So what there to think about? Maybe we'll encounter some local boss on the way? I don't really believe that myself, but if there is an exit from a camp, this idea seems quite solid. I don't know, are you sure? She wasn't confident. Then start picking your stuff, meeting her in half hour. I see this as very unlikely. I mean, doesn't Olga have a list? I mean, of course, this suggests that Olga know her job. Then start packing your stuff. Meet here in half an hour. Around our Olga cabin. Yes, that is much to pack. I tossed my warm clothes into a bag and I was about to go where an interesting thought crossed my mind. What will I actually need them for? It doesn't seem to be late summer or what the point of dragging unnecessarily wait long. Especially since I don't know how far I have to walk. After reasoning that one could survive such a weather without a coat and warm boot, I shoved my cell phone with its dying battery into my pocket and went to the square. I had to wait at least 20 minutes for Alicia. My hangover seemed to ease a little so I could better focus on the previous night. Oh, what does she really mean to me? Was it just a drunk sex or something more? Naturally, I can't speak of Alicia. It's difficult even to speak for myself. I began to remember the course of my acquaintance with her. How she teased and mocked me at first, her arrogance and self-confidence. It was more than compensated for by the tenderness of last night. It was already clear that she is not the person she wants to seem like. But what kind of person is the real Alicia? And do I have any feeling toward her? I do feel sympathy, a sort of affection, but is there something more? My reflections were interrupted by Alicia. Here, take it. She and handed it back to me. What's that? I asked quickly. My stuff. Why so little? I brought as much as I could fit. Look, we don't know how far we have to go. Maybe you can take only the most necessary thing. So what? I just have to throw it away? Leave it here. Alicia sniffed. Firstly, I couldn't understand why she even has that much stuff, and secondly, what's so valuable in here? But it's your duty to carry it of me, isn't it? Of course. After what you did last night. She smiled archly. I missed how much it would weigh. About 10 kilograms, I think. I can carry that for 2 kilometers, but not much further than that. You do understand that we'll not get very far with it. Well, we'll do our best. You mean I can throw something out of that later? We'll see. She answered with her eyes flashed slyly. Okay, I'm asking you at your word. After all, as I have carried it, I have the right to throw things out of it. And so our journey began. It took me less than an hour to start getting tired. I would never have thought that I possessed such a stamina. Either the backpack was easy to carry or last night exercise had trained my muscles. I stopped and rode right and threw Alicia belonging to the ground. What are you doing? She was clearly resentful. Do you want to carry it yourself? Of course not. In that case, I need to rest. Naturally, the most rational decision was to get rid of most of the stuff, keeping only the most necessary thing, but I couldn't bring myself to such a drastic measure. You've been keeping silence for the whole time. Alicia was starting fishing down the road and decided to listen the distance. What is there to talk about? I don't know. But you are behave as if nothing happened. Did something happen? She asked absolutely mad. Well, you know, sex. Had enough rest, then let go. No, was not enough sex. At least give me 5 minutes. Alicia began to quickly walk away from me. Hey, wait a minute. Shouldn't that backpack and run after her? Ugh. We have been traveling in silence for some time, with Alicia slightly ahead and me behind. I had no idea how to start conversation. She seemed to be giving out obvious hint that the night event were on big mistake. At last, it seemed so to me. Though from my point of view, what happened was meant to happen. For the last few days in the camp, I have definitely been attracted to Alicia. And I believe she was attracted to me as well. In that case, what's the problem? Maybe she doesn't want to be just a one-night stand? You know? She turned and looked at me. If I did something wrong, you did nothing wrong. But it just turned out this way, so it was just an accident. It didn't say that. Then what did you say? My inability to get a straight answer made me begin to lose my temper, and I raised my voice. You just give me hints, ambiguous. What about straightforwardness? Sincere. You weren't like that before. People tend to change. She slowly paced forward. Change? You call that change? You are a completely different person now, just like Lena, really. Alicia stood by, didn't turn. Don't compare. Get it? Don't compare me with her. She spoke quickly, but there was rage in her voice. What? I was somewhat taken back. You blame me for everything, but that about yourself. You constantly looking at her. Even now, you managed to see her and me. Well, what? Why did you came yesterday then? You could have gone to her, you know that? You know what? Did you know that I was waiting for you? It seemed that making the confusion that hard decision for Alicia, but at first I assigned a little significance to her words. Well, you yourself told me to come yesterday, so that isn't about it. Alicia burst into sob and covered her face with hand. I was completely taken back. I still didn't get what she hinted at, so it was impossible to talk normally. Sorry, forgive me. Stop apologize. But if I said or did something wrong, so what? The point in apologizing if you already did. Better to behave yourself from now on. But I don't know how. Alicia looked at me. There was so much sorrow in her eyes that I couldn't bear it and turned away. We stood like that for some time. Soon she seemed to pull herself back together. Okay, forget it, let's move on. Naturally, I couldn't forget it even if I want to, but I had nothing to say anyway, so I followed her in silence. The sun was slowly moving below the horizon. I was immeasured in thought and even forgot about that heavy backpack on my back. I had to say something, do something. Alicia is exacting me too. At last a few words. But what should I begin with? I have gotten used to everything in my life being quite simple. Any task seemed to be already finished after only a few steps. Instead of considering the long way to my goal, I immediately started to think about the result, enjoying an unachieved victory. Moreover, I double it. I'd have to face a situation like this in real world. Obviously, for a long time, I dreamed about a person who could care about me. But right now, such a person is in front of me, and yet I feel nothing. And I can't tell Alicia either yes or no just because I don't know what will happen next. Meanwhile, it gets dark. It's dark. I guess we should make a camp for the night. That's not that much left to it. Are you sure? And even if that's so, it's better to travel during the daytime. You know best, she answered coldly. We stopped at the edge of the wood. Got anything useful in there? I went at the backpack. Have a look. Meanwhile, the bottom of magazine, box of matches, quite enough of a light fire. Soon we were sitting on falling tree and warming our hand by fire. Only now did I finally realize that I'd finally gotten out of that damn camp. I found no answers. On the contrary, every had become even more tingle as I guess I am to spend the rest of my life in this reality. If I don't take into consideration all the science fiction stuff, it's clear that I am somehow at the end of the 80s. How, and more importantly, why I was brought here is not so important now, as I have to somehow adapt. and I ought to begin with the girl sitting by my side. So, what will we do when we reach the destination center? Well, our parents, what else? Elsa smiled slightly. She had someone to call. And then? And then it's all over. Meaning? Well, we'll leave for our homes. I wasn't really surprised by the answer. I just hadn't thought about what will happen after all the term end. And that's it. What else there? I don't know. After all that happened, but nothing happened at all. She told me merely, what do you mean nothing happened? You'll have a chance to find Lena. I was surprised, but Elsa said it absolutely kindly. As if I need Lena. I wouldn't be so sure, and I am sure let me decide it for myself. Yes, what did you start to do such a silly things? About? Suddenly remember my current age. 17 years ago? Well, admirable. But, to be honest, I didn't notice anything like that. What exactly should you have noticed? That you are able to say something without single doubt. She was absolutely right and on the point. And what exactly you want to hear? You know what? That game of hints could last for hours. If you want to know how I feel toward you, then I'll speak frankly. I don't know myself. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Alicia turned away. What can I do? That's the truth. And what can I do? I don't ask anything of you. Yes, are you sure? Sure, I answered after a while. And what are you doing all 7 days in the camp? What I was doing? You were asking, wasn't you? What was I asking for? For what reason? Can't you talk in a way that people understand? The mind reader are on vacations. If you want to, you will understand. I can't understand without explanation. It's okay, just idle talk. She stopped and went toward the road. No way! Took my temper completely and jumped up. A couple of straight grabbed her and had to pull her toward me. Oh, I get. But I had miscalculated the amount of strength I could use, and we fall on the ground with Alicia lying beneath me. What? Yesterday wasn't enough? Want more? Her face was glowing and her eyes were flashing. I felt really mixed up. I released the girl hand, but didn't stand up at once. I just want to understand, where did I go wrong? Why are you always thinking that you went wrong somewhere? Because you think so. Who told you that? I didn't. But I can see it. You see everything, don't you? You see and draw conclusion that you shouldn't interrupt. That you should lie low, say nothing. I draw conclusion based on logic. Are you sure that the logic of you is correct? I didn't know what to say about that. For some time we just lay there. I was completely confused, and it seemed that Alicia didn't want to continue our conversation. Finally, she pushed me away and stood up. Why are you here now with me? Because everyone left the camp and we stayed. I'm not talking about that. Well, because I like you. Finally, I dared to say it directly. Are you sure? And what about Lena? She was always next to you. I don't remember that. Maybe it's she too much work. And what about me? I'm much simple, just a snap of a finger and I am your bed. I wouldn't say it that simple with her. Don't put it word in my mouth. You say nothing, so I'll plant you from there. but you think for dozen others. Well, she was absolutely right on that point. I didn't think anything like that. So, do I have to just simply believe all of this? You don't have to believe, I'm not forcing you. But it is the truth, so I am not going to make anything up. Words should be proven with actions. What action is she expecting of me? Well, we could do it again, I said without a smile. I had no idea how I even dared to think of a joking in such a situation, especially a joke like that. Sure, come on. What, really? Alicia said it in a calm voice, walked to the fire and stand to and rest. I jumped on, ran into her and grabbed her arms. What are you doing? Wait, I didn't mean that. No. Well, what the big deal? We did it already. Don't you need me just for that? I didn't say that. Of course not. You get me all wrong. How should I get you there? She pulled her arm free and started crying. I lied down beside her, hanging her, and started putting her head. Oh, everything is alright. Calm down. Leave me alone, she said through the tears, but didn't try to free herself. You see, I had a hard life before the scam. I just haven't got used to this. I don't know how to act in a situation like this. I've been alone for a long time, no friends, no loved one. I have just forgotten how to feel and how to love. It's hard for me. It is so much easier not to get mixed up in this matters. Finally, it becomes just normal not to. And here we are, something I never could have imagined. It doesn't mean that I am an egoistic bastard, although I guess it seems that me I am. I just can't do that right away. Alicia didn't rely and continue crying. But I know one thing for sure. There's nothing between me and Lena. She a friend, nothing more. I never look at her that way. And I need you. Not only for what you think I want. I just don't know how to tell you the thing you want to hear. They carry obligate. You see, I am in the kind of situation now where I ever don't know what will happen to me in the next hour. So, and here, Alicia seemed to not listen to me at all. My exercise just didn't reach her. Well, I should be proud of myself. I made a girl cry. And which girl? Alicia, who is the first glance seemed to be completely stranger to any romantic feeling. You know, I can't make this decision for both of us. I can only say for myself that I am ready to be with you. To support you, to protect you. But why do you need me? I have nothing in my soul. I don't know what I want from this life. Besides, I am here now, but tomorrow I might not be gone. Alicia stopped crying for a moment. Don't you understand that I already made the decision a long time ago? Then, she looked up at me with teary eyes. Might have seemed happy in time of a moment. Alicia embraced me and tenderly kissed me. It was the best kiss of my entire life. No, it wasn't passion the one last night, but there was so much tenderness, trust, and love that I just dissolved in her lips, in her arms. I forgot about everything, about the camp, about the past, and the doubt which were tormenting me a moment ago. She was all that I need, now and forever. Hey, that kiss might have lasted forever, but suddenly a horn suddenly nearby, as if from inside my brain. I turned to the boss and saw a boss. And old Liaz. It looked like a regular one. We just lay and looked at this for a time. Soon driver left the bus and shot at us. Hey, lovebirds! This is the last bus to town. Are you coming? Shall we go? Alicia said merrily. We jumped up, I grabbed the backpack, took Alicia by the hand, and ran to the bus. In a couple of seconds, we made ourselves comfortable on the back seat. The driver was shouting something from his place, but I didn't listen to him. Hey, what you doing? You're so young for this. Here it is, rescue ship heading for new life. I looked at Alicia. I was so eager to say something, to continue the conversation by the fire. She was sleeping peacefully, resting her head on my shoulder. I didn't wake her up. There was no need. We had so much time as it was. There was no one in the bus except us. The bus was going fast, leaving behind not only my private life but also the week I had spent in the pioneer camp called Sovanok. I went through more during this event days than I had through all the years of my real life. And how much was still lying ahead in the future. The common country scenario in the window didn't interest me much. I was just watching Alicia peacefully sleeping. My heart was filling with warmth and calmness, and my head finally stopped bursting with thought. But happiness is a fragile matter. Many things can destroy it. Time, for example. The longer your happiness lasts, the more common it becomes. Emotions dull, new problem, and worry appear. I felt good, but the accompaniment existed didn't let me to enjoy the moment. I fell asleep. Day ... It seems I'm getting old. The day was over and the hangover should have been long gone, but I still feel sick and dizzy. Despite how hard I tried, was unable to open my eyes. I just rolled over. I wonder what awaits me in the distinct center. How am I to live? Maybe it's not all that bad. Well, sure, I don't know where to begin, but on the other hand, this world doesn't seem hostile. I know a lot of things here. Everyone speaks Russian. So, maybe nothing bad is going to happen. Suddenly, I felt my sick. Damn it, I thought it was all gone by yesterday evening. Oh, we're back to our normal life. I managed to reach the toilet, moving steadily. After some time, when my dirty business was done, I returned to the room. And then I realized I'm back to my old flat. However, it's not so old. It seemed that nothing had changed during the week of my absence. The dust lie haven't even grown thicker. The keyboard position, mouse inclined, and the stare from cup tea that table set my eyes. Theoretically, a man in my condition couldn't notice such a detail, but the entire room drew my attention to the most minor of detail, as if it was twinkling with different colors. The stocks were thrown around in the exact same manner as they had been before. The blanket seat rumbled on the unmade bed as it was before. The dirty window shone the same view of the street like a cracked telescope. In vain, I tried to become terrified or at last scared. Maybe it's shocked face, post-traumatic stress disorder, or something like that. After all, several hours ago, I wasn't even thinking of returning to this real world. The pioneer camp, the girls, Alicia, the mystical district center where I would have arrived if I hadn't woke up in my flat, all that had started to seem real to me. Maybe my fantastic vacation to Sovanok was just a dream. Just a dream. My feet start to rock up circles around the room. I held my hand behind my back and I started to think everything over. Only one thing is clear. I have returned. I have returned as suddenly as I arrived there, without any reason or logic. Maybe there was some sort of explanation, but it is beyond my or human comprehension. Whether it was a trick by installer force or supreme mind or government experience, I believe the last one to be the last likely. They left no clue. If I was unable to find answer in the camp, it would be foolish to expect a thing to become clearer here. It's like searching for evidence in the house that been burned to ashes. Even if a crime was committed, all the evidence was destroyed by fire. Maybe if I had the skill and equipment for criminology, I could find something, but the memories of a week spent in the camp are all I have got. But it wasn't a dream, I know it for sure. My hangover was absolutely real. My feeling and emotion were genuine, not just the stuff of dreams. Therefore, I have been there spending a week in the Sovanoke Pioneer Camp with the camp leader and the pioneers. With Alisa. Memories of her made me sigh. It would have been great to live with her. Wait a minute. What's wrong with me? I should be glad I returned home to the real world, or shouldn't I? For now I just couldn't navigate the situation reasonably. I couldn't understand whether I want to stay there or enjoy my long-awaited return. I noticed a few ruble coin on the table. I took it and began to toss it up without any purpose. Continue the number of head and tails. A long time ago, maybe even in the school, I heard that the infernal number of coins tossed in the ruble are not equal to 50% each. Maybe it is because a coin doesn't have a perfect shape and weight because of some other reasons. However, after some time I counted 70 heads, 71 tails. So the theory of relativity lies, but I am not the man to judge it. I don't know much about it. I recall my childhood where I had heard the word tails for the first time. For some reason, it always made me think of squirrels. Maybe there's some logic in this. A square does sound have tails. Now that theory seems strange to me, but at the same time I couldn't find any conclusion evidence to disprove it. So, does it mean that squares come out more frequently than heads? But one must consider that a square had head as well too. I yank on my hair and sighed exactly. Now, not the time for thinking of such rubbish. On the other hand, what is now the right time for? What can I do? What I understand my control? If I hadn't bothered trying to find answer during the week there, what would be point of thinking now? Maybe I should just try to go back to my ordinary life. The words ordinary life were painful to me. Why did I choose that specific word? I could have said past, former, something else. I guess because it was what I was used to. That's the most obvious answer. As they say, what you get used to become second nature to you. Instantly, all of the last week event floated before my eyes. Did I really want to stay there so badly? Was just 1 week enough for me to get used to Olga picking on me all the time, Yuliana prank and joke around, or Alisa chickiness and mockery? I had no answer to this question, but it's obvious that I already missed it. I thought I am sure I'll never return there. Obviously, I can't tell whatever the force that brought me there might want to entertain itself again and again and again. It is possible, but for now I have what I have, an adventure that I remember for the rest of my life. Damn it, how many people get to experience something like that? Every day dreaming, even dreams about such a thing are unthinkable. You was in camp, like, not something this is very weird. The main thing is that it wasn't Dr. Molover's evil island, but normal Soviet pioneer camp with the normal pioneers. And its communities was overlaid by the astonishing origin of my arrival there. Anyway, it wasn't the worst experience of my life. Perhaps it was one of the best. Obviously, it's sad that everything just ended up halfway through, but every story has an end. It's good that it has ended that way. Who knows what else could have happened? This is the end? Because my tongue is hot. Oh, I was talking for hours. Time passed. The event that took place in this camp now seem more like a fiction novel I once read. No, I haven't forgot them. I could recall them in the finest detail. I remember how, as a child, I used to lie under a blanket with a flashlight and read a fascinating book about space flight until dawn. Sometimes I was unable to get up to go to school. My parents always used to scold me for that, but with every night approach I would carefully turn every page, trying to absorb every minor detail of the story. I had similar feeling about that pioneer camp. Reality, if I can consider it such, now seem more like a book. I didn't think it was bad at all. In the end, the main thing is to remember. And it is not important whatever these memories take the form of a slideshow, photos, videos or audio. Now each pass made me feel both fear and hope. At first I circled around the 410 route without purpose. Several times I fell asleep on the same seat. But nothing happened, not even a trace of something supernatural. As time went by, I stopped this ideal trips. Something changed in my life, it just couldn't do otherwise. A couple of weeks after my return from the camp, I took up my guitars that was lying lonely and gathered dust in a corner, striking a couple of chords. Remember Alisa, for me her image was inspired from the instrument. At first it didn't work out very well. Maybe just had no talent for music. I started reading Take Yourself a book and watch videos lessons. On the other hand, all this efforts wasn't a burden anymore. I just played the chord and polish my skill. And with any kind of activity, including music, practice makes perfect. About half a year later, I realized that I achieved some result. At last, I could now smoothly play part of my favorite songs. Satisfied with my progress, I put a couple of advancements on music form, intending to form my own band. Really, I still had no idea what kind of music I want to play. My taste varied from something really heavy to anime soundtrack. At first, it seemed impossible for me. I would have to communicate with a stranger, and what if we are just too different? And anyway, how do I explain to the other that a music I went through to make? But it's all worked out much easier. The potential candidate turned out to be not so frightened, and our tastes were mostly the same. After all, we share the same goal, so issues stemmed from lack of understanding could be resolved. And and soon we had a band. Suddenly, I discovered my talent as a composer. Having spent the entire day and night on the note editor and sequence, I start composing okash things. At last, the opinion of the other band member and balls show my songs. Okay, you good. Thank you, my friends. You like me so much, just because we're friends. Okay, quite soon we gave our first concert. A D-list club, not significantly more specific than my bedroom, 3.5 viewers who wasn't exactly soup. I was hellish access and sound equipment was considerably malfunction, but all of that didn't bother me because I was happy, since this was just the first step to success. However, it was a long time before we were invited again. With a great difficulty, we managed to record 3 tracks and publish them on the internet. The reviews were far from ecstatic, but it didn't bother me such. It was just beginning. Maybe some consider our music just a leisurely activity of a brief fixation, but for me it was serious. After all, it was me who founded the band and all the music was mine as well. I felt a personal responsibility for the fate of my creation. Every spare moment I spent on improving my performance technique, and after a year I could already further say that I wasn't the worst guitarist in the world. Then some sort of popularity came. We were giving concerts almost every week and we are finally getting paid. It wasn't important that it was just 500 rubles per. Oh, give me a second to take my breath. Per man, the fact that our work was in demand and someone was ready to pay us for, even though we were usually a warm up for other bands, was what mattered. I was sitting before my monitor torsion guitar. Still very not a recognized piece of work, huh? I dated an upcoming concert was thicker circle and computer desktop calendar. The very thought of that gave me a goosebump. It will be the first time we will headliners and we have an album presentation as well. I wonder how many discs will be sold. Of course the CD era is already over, but there are still someone who appreciate it, and maybe some will buy it just to support the band. I look at the data cam once. Yes, it's exactly a year since I returned from Sovanok. My smile reflects in darkness monitor screen. I wonder whether Alisa would like my music if she existed in this world. Don't think so. She perfectly Soviet rock classic. But who knows? I play a couple of completing the guitar break and conclusion with a feeling of satisfaction that the sound of my guitar surpassed by far that of the Soviet oral guitar, and my skill has overcome that of guitarists of the same era. I wonder whatever I will be achieve all this without this fantastic events. Unlikely, nothing strange about that. Lot of people rethink their life after stepping close to the edge. Sure, nothing dangerous happened back then, but psychological shock is good substance for given danger. I rehearse my part once more, put the guitars into case, back all my stuff, and head to the exit. It was cold outside just like that day. Slowly I brushed the bus stop of 410. Such a conclusion, I am going to the club or the very same bus. With a sinking heart, I counted down the seconds. Soon the bus arrived. I eddy opened the door and swallow up a few passengers. It was winter night, just like back then. Cars flashed by outside the headlight, indicating the city as it got ready to sleep. The closer we got to the downtown area, the more people there were in the streets. Some of them were chatting merrily, some were versing magnificent bounding window, and some were hurrying somewhere, paying no attention to anything. This day, I had no wish to return to the camp. Any other time, maybe, but not today. I must play the concert, and the rest can go to hell. I had to clear aim for nothing else mattered. And the club was considerably bigger than the one we played our first concert in, but the moment it was empty. The sound check was going on. I couldn't hear the drum through a monitor loudspeaker, which I desperately tried to tell the sound guy about. Sound turn gadget installed, set list all prepared, ready to rock. But it is a special day. We are not doing the warm-up. The other guys are doing the warm-up before our concert, though our entrance is last. As I listened to the first band, I noticed that they have a lot improved to go. On the other hand, we were no better not too long time ago. As the time got closer to the start of our performance, my tension grew enormous. Come on, I was literally shaken with anxiety. I decided not to listen to the other band and to wait calmly in the dressing room. Judging by their experience, my mates were in the same mood. We were silent. Actually, we had nothing to talk about. Our parts were learned and perfected a long time ago. Only nervous cold hideouts, but we already have some experience, so everyone will be fine. At last, I comfort myself with this thought. Oh. And now finally, the time has come. I don't remember how we entered the stage and greeted the audience. My conclusion turned out when the first chord of first song came from the speakers. While sitting on the makeup room, I deeply tried to warm my ice-cold finger, but now they ran from staring to staring without the slightest mistake, as if they were charmed. I thought flashing across my mind, why didn't I still make a single mistake? When I played all this part at home during rehearsal, I never thought about it. Everything seemed a matter of course. But now, when I stood in the front of the audience, it felt different. Somehow, somewhere deep in my mind, there was a thought that soon my finger will slide, and thank goodness the thing didn't interfere with my playing. Our performance was nearing the end, and now it was the time for the difficult solo I've been learning for so long. By the point my nerves had vanished and I played through it perfectly, even better than during the rehearsal. When this will over? Like, very longer than a thing, and I need to close it now before... Finally, our performance was over and the concert hall burst with appearance. I seemed awkwardly at last, I thought so, and bowed several times with the rest of the band. They shouted encore to us. Even without them shouting, I would have been glad to play something else, but we have run out of the song as we were just a newly formed band. Euphoria above the dressing room was where congregation and hanging each other. The sound opened, chiming bottle echo in the hall. All our discs had been sold, which made me even happier. Finally, I managed to become something too. It's impossible to predict the future of our band or the whole affair with the music. But one thing was clear. I have finally found something I am interested in and can dedicate my entire life to. As well as that, I can see that it may be able to make people other than me happy too. It was probably now that happier man on the earth. At last, it was surely the best moment in my life. The club is empty, the instrument is backing, and I am waiting for the other two so we can go home. Oh, Alicia! Hi! Hi! I turned around and saw a girl standing nearby.
They're all worth following up on because there's usually something to get. It's like in an MMO, to use a really poor example. But like, it's kind of those things where you do not fetch quests, but some guy will be like, I heard in that windmill over there, there's some kind of ghost. That's a rumor. And so you'd be like, wow, that is cool, a ghost. We should check that out. And whether there's a ghost or not, they've got an excuse to go someplace and do, even if it's something.
Hi! I turned around and saw a girl standing nearby. It's Alicia! This is the good ending. Her tone wasn't too polite, but it wasn't hostile either. I like your performance. Thanks. The darkness of the club prevented me from clearly seeing her face, but I was sure that I was extremely familiar to me. And you? I stepped forward exactly. It was Alicia, frozen on the spot and able to speak. What about me? Nothing. I just thought that I see you somewhere before. I tried not to jump to her with the question about minor camps. After all, it's possible that this girl merely looked like her. Or something like that. Anyway, it was obvious that she was seeing me for the first time. Or at last was pretending to. Well, generally, it is true. She beer. My name, Simone. And I fix an artificial smile and offer her my hand. Actually, I know that. How? Read it on the internet? Oh yeah, you're famous now? Yes, of course. And you are? Alicia. She replied somewhere in confusion. So I was right, but how right I was? Listen, did you ever go to Binder Camp as a child? No. Why are you asking? I just seemed that I have met you there. How could you have met me there if I never been there? She laughed. Yes, all the musicians are somewhere strange. No doubt. Well, I just want to say that your music is not too bad. Thank you. Alicia turned to leave. Thanks. I felt that I need to do something, say something. Will you come to our next concert? When? To be honest, I had no idea. Soon, yeah, maybe. Send me a message. Yeah, sure. We share our contact detail and each other. Yay! You get to date with Alicia, yay! Then, I'll see you again, probably. She waved her hand and went out. Obviously, I have no idea if she was that every same Alicia I ever met in the camp. Any number of theories were knuckled by absolute absence in fact. But at that moment, it was that last thing that concerned me was as I was filling with emotion, both from the concert and meeting Alicia. After all, nothing prevent me from calling her, and then we'll see. I smiled, I shredded my guitars and started walking to the 410 bus stop with my mates. Picking Guru. Every story has beginning and its end. Every story has its own outline, subplot, content, key point, prologue, and epilogue. And there are no book which, if you read it again, will not reveal a new detail you didn't notice before. Every story has a beginning and end. Almost every. So, that was Alicia's story, the good ending. That took less than the others, but I was stupid to do a very long segment this time. I should stick with the 30-minute format, but yeah, who knows. So this is Alicia's story. By the way, I was working to make this the bad ending, but I screw up again. So this is the good ending first. Maybe you say that having the good ending first is better, so you do not feel the bad about the bad ending, but who knows. So far we finish Sylvia, Lena, Alicia. We only have Juliana, and then we can do the final two girls, the secret two girls. But for now, enjoy the ending and see you next time, I think. Just as we'll wait a little bit to see all these special pictures and story. By the way, I know some people think that Alicia is like the bestest girl. I don't know, I didn't like her that much. I think it's just like she a hero without cause. For some reason, like she just fights all the time. I didn't understand her character that much. Like she did a lot of assholeish things for no reason. My favorite is Sylvia. Lena is have a crack in her brain, but Alicia is good. So next time is bad ending. So I think this is it. See you next time. Goodbye.